Hey everyone, am I on? Hey Patrick. Hi Hope. Hey, what are you eating today? You sent me something on Twitter, but I didn't catch it. Hey Bigfoot, what's up, my man? Losh, Darter 9000, what's up? QP. Hey Nikki. Flowing Spring. Hey Katie. Streety McMeety. I like that. Hey Tangy Tomato. I love the profile pic. Hey Maverick. Oh man. So this morning, was it this morning or afternoon? I was sitting here and then I hear something above, like a little scratching noise, and then like paper ripping or something. And I think, yeah, so there's an animal or some kind of yokai in my attic, I believe. Which is making noises. I was like, what the? Yeah. So I was like, let's check it out. Let's see what it is, right? So so I put on like long sleeves and long pants in case like it's something in case it's like some animal that's tries to scratch me. Yeah, and then I try to climb up to the attic. And unfortunately, I have a step ladder and it's a little too short, so I couldn't really climb into the attic. I would have had to like I could have like just jumped and try to get myself in, but I didn't want to like I didn't want to hurt myself. So uh what I did was I used a phone with a camera and a flash just to um record what's inside the attic. And I couldn't find anything. Yeah, couldn't find anything. I think I'm gonna have to get a ladder from my dad or a friend or something and see what's up there. It's still there. Like I can hear it, not now, but I can hear it like crawling. I think it's like ripped. I think it ripped some of the insulation. Which, come on, why would you do that, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I still don't know what it is. It's still up there. Freaking yokai. But yeah, to be continued. We'll see. Let's see what happens. We'll see what happens tomorrow. You mean that thing is still in your attic? It's still there. It's it's moving up there, like scampering and ripping up the insulation. Nancy Mendez. Hey, Nancy. Evil Sin. Hey, first time you're here from the start. Good job. Oh my god, Hope. You're having Sakura cream filled mochi. That sounds so good. What happened to your real ladder? I don't have a real ladder. I have a little step ladder with 3 steps, but it's not high enough. Yeah, I know. I need a real ladder. Is it a kitsune? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I hope it's like maybe it's a cat, but I haven't heard any mewing. Meowing? Yeah, so I don't think it's a cat. It might be a possum or something. Or a yokai. You don't know. Okay. So we continue with the food eating. I have shrimp chips. I think I'm gonna try this today. It's yuzu and black pepper flavor. I've never tried this flavor before. So yeah, and I still have that old my box of like candies and chocolates and stuff. I don't know how much we'll go through, but I'm gonna do this before we start. You look red? I think it's the camera. I don't know what to do. I'm not actually that red. Okay. All right, yuzu and black pepper. Hmm. It has a bit of a citrus taste and a little kick to it because of the pepper. A little, yeah, strong citrus taste with a little pepper. It's not spicy. It's just a little pepper flavoring on it, which is pretty good. Oh shit, is it lagging? God damn it. Let me know. Yuzu is a citrus kind of fruit. Let me know when it stops lagging. I don't know what to do. It shouldn't lag. Hey Freddy, what's up? My internet is supposed to be really good these days. I don't know why it's lagging. Ugh. Oh shit. I might know. I had BitTorrent on. Maybe that's why it's lagging. All right. One last time. Good stuff. QP, you like the plain ones? The plain shrimp chips are good too. I usually get that one. But for you guys, I want to try different flavors. But this one's pretty good. It's yuzu and black pepper flavor if you guys want to buy it. Oh, it's better now? Yeah, I think I know why. I had my BitTorrent on. And it might have slowed the stream down. Torrent and incognito, you doing naughty stuff on your computer? I don't know what you're talking about, Freddy. Okay. I don't know what you do on your computer. Oh, this is good. Alright. My favorite fruit is a pear, probably. Pears are really good. I think pears are better than apple because pears are more. They have more juice to them. All right, you guys. Okay, so recap of last week. What happened last week? Last week, we have Lin Pingji's parents. They died, unfortunately. And then Pingzhi arrives like 10 minutes later or something, a few minutes later, along with the rest of the Huashan school crew. And he sees that his parents are dead and he cries and does all of that stuff. And so the Huashan group returns to Mount Huashan. And at Mount Huashan, Yue Buchun, the master of the Huashan Sword School, does a ceremony accepting Lin Pingzhi into the school. Okay, formally accepting him into the school. At the same ceremony, he also admonishes Lin Huchong for violating some of the school rules. Specifically, that he hung out with some demon cult members, and he didn't attack them right away. He didn't attack them on sight. So that was violating some of the rules, and the punishment for that is that he has to go up to the mountains and meditate for about a year. So that's the punishment. Yeah, it was a short chapter. So now we get to see him meditate for a year. How fun. Green apple versus green pear. Green pear, man. Pears are just really good. Wait, Tokyo Hub. What do you mean? You seen Linfamy Rule 34 fan art? No, you haven't. You liar. That doesn't exist on the internet. Yet. Not yet. It will when I get through with it. No, just kidding. Demon Cult? No, this is a story. Tangy Tomato. This is a story. I don't think they were real, right? Did Ling Hu Chong just leave the nun behind? Yep, he left Yilin, the nun, behind. Because remember, she was burying the bodies of those two guys, the two musicians, and the little girl. What was her name again? Oh no, Fei Fei. Yeah. Yeah, she was burying her bodies and he just left. Okay, guys. Switching camera. And we begin. This time I won't forget this. Nikki says Yilin was too thirsty to travel. Alright, let's do this. Chapter 8. Meditation, Part 1. At dusk that night, after bowing to master and master wife, bidding his farewell to all the apprentice brothers and sisters, Ling Hu Chong climbed up the steep cliff on the very top of the Jade Maiden Peak, bringing only a longsword with him. I'm burping. There was a cave on top of the cliff. It was the spot used for punishing generations of Huashan Sword School apprentices who had violated school rules. The cliff was completely bare, without a single blade of grass, not mentioning any trees. Other than the cave, there was nothing else on the cliff. Mount Huashan had many beautiful types of scenery and resourceful of trees. It's a grammar problem. Of trees and grasses, but this steep cliff was an exception. Legend told that the cliff was a pearl studded on the Jade Maiden's hairpin. The reason why earlier generations of Huashan grandmasters picked this steep cliff as the place for punishing apprentices was mainly because it was such a bare place that even birds or insects didn't want to live there. Therefore, when the punished apprentice meditated and thought through his mistakes, he wouldn't be distracted by other things and would be able to stay focused. Ling Hu Chong entered the cave, and a big smooth rock on the floor soon caught his eyes. For the last several hundred years, many grandmasters of our Huashan Sword School must have sat on this rock before, which really smoothed out the rock surface. I, Ling Hu Chong, am the #1 troublemaker of Huashan Sword School nowadays, so of course I am destined to sit on this rock. Master has been really kind to me. He had waited until today to send me here to sit on this rock, Ling Hu Chong thought to himself. Hello, rock. He patted on the big rock gently and muttered, You've probably been lonely for many years, but Ling Hu Chong is here to be your company now. Sitting down on the rock, he found his eyes only 1 foot away from the rock wall. Then something caught his attention. The words Feng Qingyang were carved on the left side of the rock wall. Those must have been carved using a sharp blade. The vigorous strokes were almost a half an inch deep into the rock. Who's this Feng Qingyang? Ling Hu Chong couldn't help but ask himself. He is probably a senior master of our school who was once punished to meditate here. Oh, I see. My grandmaster's name has a Qing in it, and he belongs to the Qing generation of Huashan masters. This senior master named Feng must be my grand uncle master then. It takes great strength to carve something like that. His kung fu must have been outstanding. How come master and master wife never mentioned him before? I guess this senior master must have passed away a long time ago. He closed his eyes and worked on his breathing exercises for about an hour. before standing up again to stretch out. Going back into the cave and sat back down on the rock, he started pondering upon the question. When I meet people from the demon cult, should I simply draw my sword and kill him right away, with no questions asked and with no regards? Doesn't the demon cult even have a single good person? But if he were a good person, why would he join the demon cult in the first place? Even if he had joined the demon cult by mistake, he could have quit immediately. If he didn't quit, then he must be willing to collaborate with evil and harm innocent people. So we see Ling Huchang struggling with this moral quandary, right? Like, are they evil? Are they not evil? Should he kill someone just because they're part of the cult? Because that doesn't seem like something that a good person would do. Dun, dun, dun. you would sub to Ling Huchang? Oh, me. Yeah, I wanted to be a YouTuber. My master said no. But I am a YouTuber. You guys, I have a YouTube channel. What do you mean? Instantly, many scenes appeared in his mind. Those were all scenes master, wife, and other senior masters in the martial world had told him before. Things about the many kinds of murders the demon cult members had committed. The entire family of Master Yu in Jiangxi province, a total of 23, were taken prisoner by the demon cult and were all nailed onto tree trunks. Even the 3-year-old child was no exception. Two of Master Yu's sons groaned for 3 days and 3 nights before finally passing away. When the headmaster of Dragon Phoenix Saber in Jinan, Zhao Dongkui, held the wedding ceremony for his son, members of the demon cult forced their way into the crowds, beheaded the newlyweds, and placed their heads on top of the gift table, claiming them to be wedding gifts. When old hero Hao in Hanyang had his 70th birthday party and invited many friends in the martial world, no one had known that the demon cult had planted bombs right underneath the room for the ceremony. The sudden explosion killed and wounded countless numbers of people, including Uncle Master Ji from the Taishan Sword School, who lost an arm in this tragedy. Uncle Master Ji had told this story himself, so it had to be true. Then he remembered when he met Uncle Master's son of the Songshang Sword School, whose both arms, feet, and eyes were cut out. Well, he was screaming nonstop. The demon cult did this. Seek revenge for me. The demon cult did this. Seek revenge for me. At that time, the Songshang Sword School had already sent people to help, but with such severe wounds, there was really not much to be done. Remembering the image of 2 empty holes on Uncle Master's son's face, with blood gushing out continuously, Ling Huchang could not help but quiver. Oh, Ling Huchang wanted to be a YouTuber. This is what he's training for, guys. He's meditating for a year just to learn how to be a YouTuber. Because that's exactly what I did. And it worked. Demon cult members really have committed too many cruel crimes, he thought. So when Chu Yang and his granddaughter saved me, they must have had ill intentions. When Master asks me again if I will kill with no hesitation when I see members of the demon cult, my answer will be, why should I hesitate? Of course, I will draw my sword and attack, with no question asked. Finally able to think it through, Ling Huchang had an ease of mind. With a long roar, he jumped backwards toward the opening of the cave. Turning his body around while still in midair, he opened his eyes again after landing squarely on the ground. Looking down at his feet, he found his feet almost on the edge of the steep cliff, only 2 feet from the very brink of the cliff. If he had used just a little more strength when he jumped up and had landed 2 more feet further, he would have fallen into the bottomless abyss and have his body smashed into pieces. He had actually calculated the distance well in his head before he closed his eyes and jumped backwards. Since he had made up his mind to kill the demon cult members on first sight and didn't have any more burdens on his mind, he just wanted to have a little risky fun. Yeah, Nikki, all the best YouTubers meditate on a mountain for a year. What do you think? Yeah, what do you think we do? Sometimes we have to go back just to, just to like catch up. I am still not brave enough. I should have jumped at least another feet, or another feet closer to the edge for the real fun, Ling Hu Chong thought, when sounds of giggles and clapping suddenly rose from behind. Big apprentice brother, that was so cool. It was the voice of Yue Ling Shan. Ling Hu Chong was very delighted. He turned around and saw Yue Ling Shan carrying a meal basket. Remember, this is his apprentice sister, his younger apprentice sister, the daughter of the master of the Huashan school. Big apprentice brother, I've brought you your dinner, Yue Ling Shan announced happily. She sat the meal basket on the ground, went into the cave, and sat on the big rock facing the rock wall. This is a really cool trick of yours. Let me give it a try. Ling Hu Chong knew that this trick was indeed a very dangerous one. Even when he tried it earlier, he was ready to give it all up. Yue Ling Shan's kung fu skills were much less compared to his, and if she couldn't calculate her strength right, it would be disastrous. But because she was really in the mood at the moment, he couldn't hold her back, so he stood right next to the brim of the cliff and waited. Intending to make sure she could beat the big apprentice brother, Yue Ling Shan went over the calculation in her head quickly and then pushed the ground hard with her toes. After her body had left the ground, she also turned her body around in midair. Hoping to land further to the edge of the cliff than Ling Hu Chong did, she used a little bit extra strength, but when her body started to fall, fear suddenly overwhelmed her, and she had to open her eyes. Seeing the bottomless abyss right in front of her eyes, she screamed in terror. Wait, I have it. Nope, that is not the screaming sound. Yeah, that's what she sounds like, right? Ling Hu Chong reached out and caught her left arm while she was still in the air. When Yue Ling Shan landed back on the ground, she found her feet only 1 foot away from the very brink of the cliff. It was indeed closer than what Ling Hu Chong had achieved. Before her heart even had time to fall back into her chest, she was already claiming her victory. Big apprentice brother, I landed further than you did. Seeing her frightened face as white as a sheet, Ling Hu Chong patted her gingerly on the back. Better not try this trick again. If master or master wife ever hears about this, they would definitely scold me harshly. Maybe even punish me for another year of meditation facing the wall here. Hey, Millie Gomez. Yeah, it's not a Japanese story. What? Hey, like, oh, do you think only Japanese stories come out of my mouth? Yeah, the death sound effect kind of fits. Yue Ling Shan felt a little bit better now. She took 2 steps back and said with a big grin, Then I need to be punished too. We can meditate facing the wall here together. Wouldn't that be fun? We can have a contest every day to see who can jump further. Us two? Meditate here together every day? Ling Hu Chang repeated the words while throwing a glance at the cave, a breeze of happiness swelling in his heart, thinking, if I get to spend an entire year together with the little apprentice sister here without any disruptions, then I'd be as happy as a worry-free fairy. Alas, it will never happen. Uh-oh. Looks like Yilin has some competition. Sorry, you Yilin shippers. Oh, hey, Cupie. Thanks so much for the super chat. That's very generous of you. Bye, Nancy. Have fun at work. Bye. I'm afraid that Master will have you meditate in the House of Integrity and ban you from leaving there. Then we won't be able to see each other for an entire year, he said. That's not fair, Yue Lingshan immediately complained. How come you can have fun here and I have to be a prisoner in the House of Integrity? Knowing clearly that her parents would never allow her to accompany the big apprentice brother here on the cliff, she changed the subject. Big apprentice brother, Mom told Monkey 6 to bring you food every day at first. I told Monkey 6 is one of the brothers. Sixth apprentice brothers, I know you. Sixth apprentice brother, I know you are a monkey and all that, but climbing up and down the cliff of contemplation is no easy task. Why won't you. Why don't you let me help you and do it for you? So, how are you going to repay me for this favor? Monkey 6 said, I dare not to loaf. How should we do this? We gave Monkey 6 a voice, right? It was like a low voice. Okay. Monkey 6 said, I dare not to loaf on the job given by Master Wife. Besides, Big Apprentice Brother is the one that treats me the best. I am so glad that I'll be bringing food to him for an entire year and will be able to see him once every day. I don't mind, even if it's no easy task. Big Apprentice Brother, don't you think Monkey 6 is very mean? Well, he was telling the truth, Ling Huchang smiled. Yue Lingshan continued. Monkey 6 also said, I've always wanted to ask for advice from Big Apprentice Brother about Kung Fu questions, but every time as soon as you show up, you'd be kicking me away, not allowing any more conversation with the Big Apprentice Brother. Big Apprentice Brother, do I ever do things like that? Isn't Monkey 6 talking garbage here? He then said, Hey, for the entire year, I will be the only one who can come up the cliff of contemplation to see Big Apprentice Brother. You won't even have a chance. I got mad, but he paid no attention. Later you threatened him with your sword? Ling Huchang guessed. No. Yue Lingshan shook her head. Later, I got real upset and started crying. Monkey 6 then came to me and begged me to bring food to you. Staring at her cute little face, Ling Huchang could see the slight swelling right next to her eyes. Sure enough, she must have had quite some weeping. Deeply moved, he thought, she is so good to me, I'd be willing to die 1,000 times for her. Oh, it's someone's birthday? Hey! Oh, happy birthday, QP Jr. Happy birthday. How old are you? 10 years old. Awesome. I wish I was still 10. I think we have a lot of, what was it, October or November birthdays in this group, in chat. Yeah, happy birthday. Tell your mom to get you some cake. Yue Lingshan opened the meal basket, taking out 2 plates of dishes, together with 2 pairs of chopsticks and 2 rice bowls. She set them on a big rock with a flat top. 2 sets of chopsticks, Ling Huchang uttered. I'll eat together with you. Look, what's this? Yue Lingshan's face split into a big grin when she took out a small wine calabash from the bottom of the meal basket. Ling Huchang was very addicted to wine. Seeing the calabash of wine, he stood up and bowed deeply to Yue Lingshan. Thank you so much. I've been worrying about having no wine to drink for an entire year. You just saved my life. Yue Lingshan uncorked the wine calabash and then passed it to Ling Huchang. There's not much here. I can only steal 1 small calabash of wine for you every day. If I try to steal too much, my mom might find out about it, she explained with a smile. The Huashan Sword School rule said that an apprentice meditating on the cliff of contemplation would be prohibited from eating any meat, which was why the kitchen only prepared a big plate of boiled vegetables and a plate of tofu for Ling Huchang. But considering herself going through the punishment together with her big apprentice brother, Yue Lingshan found the dishes quite enjoyable. After dinner, the two chatted with no specific topics for another hour. Only when it was already in the nightfall did Yue Lingshan go down the cliff. Oh no, he was a wine addict? Oh yeah. He's a total alcoholic. Millie says I should have been studying right now, but I still choose this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I endorse that. My dad is now very disappointed in you, Millie. From then on, Yue Lingshan would bring food up the cliff around dusk every day, and the two would have dinner together. At noon the next day, Ling Huchong simply ate the leftovers from the previous day's dinner as his lunch. Although Ling Huchong lived alone atop the cliff, he didn't feel lonely at all. Every morning after he woke up, he would meditate with breathing exercises and also practice the Huashan style inner energy and the sword arts taught by his master. He also spent time pondering upon and going over Tian Bo Guang's fast knife chops and the move created by Master Wife, unrivaled and unmatched, the thrust of Ning. Remember, he was showing the Master Wife the moves that he fought with Tian Bo Guang. He was showing her Tian Bo Guang's moves, and she came up with some ways um, to counter them. So he's practicing those. There was only one thrust in the thrust of Ning move, but it contained many techniques from Huashan style inner energy and Huashan sword arts. Ling Huchong knew that he was not at the level to execute this move yet. If he had tried to use it, he would only make a fool out of himself. So he worked hard every day in advancing himself with his kung fu skills. Thus, although he was punished to meditate by facing the wall to think over his mistakes, he didn't do any of those. Other than having some chats with Yue Lingshan every evening, he simply worked hard on his kung fu skills with dedication. 2 months passed like that, and it started to get colder and colder each day atop the cliff. Some more days later, Madame Yue finished making Ling Huchong a new set of cotton padded coat and had Lu Dayao bring it to him up the cliff. Oh, Ling Huchong's YouTube channel would be about wines? Probably. I think you're right. He'd be doing wine reviews and wine tasting. That sounds fun, actually. Maybe I can do that. No, probably not. I don't want to be an alcoholic. One day, a windstorm swept up, swept by in the morning, and by noon, big snowflakes had started swirling out of the sky. Seeing the heavy, dark clouds gathering in the sky, Ling Huchong could tell that the snow would be lasting for quite a while. The road up the cliff is very steep and dangerous. By dusk, the road must be very slippery. Little apprentice sister shouldn't try to bring me any food in a day like this, he couldn't help thinking. But there was no way of communicating for him to send the message. In great worries, he could only wish that Master and Master Wife would know about this and stop little apprentice sister from coming. How could Master and Master Wife not know about the fact that little apprentice sister has been bringing food for me instead of sixth apprentice brother? Maybe they just pretended not to know and paid no attention. If little apprentice sister tried to climb up the cliff today, a single slip would cost her life. I guess Master Wife would ban her from climbing up the cliff, for sure, he thought. Ling Chong waited anxiously until dusk, casting a glance down the cliff every once in a while. Seeing that it was getting darker and Yue Lingshan never showed up, Ling Chong felt a bit relieved. Tomorrow morning, sixth apprentice brother will bring the food up. I hope little apprentice sister would never take on the risks. Alright, guys. 5 minute break. Alright. I will be right back while you enjoy this song. I'm back. Hey Hope, how was your mochi? I bet it was really good. Oh, sounds really good. Play I Got You Babe by Sonny and Cher. Alright, you want that for the next time? Let me cue that shit up. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know if it's gonna kill my stream though. So apparently YouTube does this thing where sometimes it kills your stream when you're playing copyrighted music. Is there any Cantonese songs I can sing? Define can sing. Define sing. I can kind of sing some songs. Am I gonna do it? Probably not. Unless I practice. Oh my god, it's evil sin. It's 3 a.m. Go to sleep, dude. Not dude. Girl. What kind of wine do you require? I'm not a wine guy. I don't really know. Yeah, let's not play that song. Let's not play the Sonny and Cher song. I think it's like, it's too popular. YouTube may kill it. Okay, what should I eat? We have these chocolate wafers. I think I'm gonna try these. It looks really good though. All right, what is this? Chocolate wafers. Oh. I don't think the camera can focus. Not bad. It's not too sweet, which is good. And wafers are just wafers. Oh, I think it has like peanut chips, like little pieces of peanuts. Oh, good stuff. Oh, definitely buy more of these. Can you guys hear me chewing? Like, is this ASMR right now? All right, good night, evil sin. All right, back to it. He was about to go back in the cave to sleep when rustling sounds of somebody climbing the snow-covered road to the cliff came to his attention. Then Yue Lingshan's voice rose. Big Apprentice brother! Big Apprentice brother! Greatly surprised, but also greatly delighted, Ling Huchong rushed by the side of the cliff. In the shower of the big snowflakes, he could see Yue Lingshan struggle her way up the cliff in slips and skids. Restricted by the order from the master, Ling Huchong dared not to step even one step down the cliff, only reaching out with his hand to try to catch Yue Lingshan. As soon as Yue Lingshan's left hand touched his right hand, Ling Huchong grabbed onto her wrist and pulled her up the cliff. Under the dim light, Yue Lingshan appeared to have snow all over her. Even her hairs were covered. Her hair were covered in snow. There was a big swelling on the left side of her forehead, and blood was dripping down slowly from the cut. You! Ling Huchong was lost in words. Yue Lingshan bit her lip as if she was going to start crying. I fell, and the meal basket fell into the valley. You'll be hungry tonight. Ling Huchang's heart was swelled with gratefulness and with compassion. He pressed gingerly on her wound with his sleeve and said affectionately, Little apprentice sister, the road is too slippery. You shouldn't have come up here. I don't want you to starve, and I wanted to see you, Yue Lingshan muttered. But if you had fallen into the valley as a result, how could I ever face master and master wife again? Ling Huchang said. Get rid of that worrying face of yours. See, I'm fine here. It's just that I am too impotent. I lost the meal basket in the wine calabash right before I almost made it up the cliff, Yue Lingshan said. I only want you to be safe. I don't mind if I have to starve for 10 days. I don't mind if I have to starve for 10 days, Ling Huchang said compassionately. Halfway up, the road was so slippery, I gathered all my inner energy and jumped a couple of times. Hey, I actually made it up that real steep slope by the 5 pine trees. I was so scared of falling down into the valley at that moment, Yue Lingshan gasped. Little apprentice sister, Ling Huchang demanded, promise me that you'll never risk your life for me again. If you had really fallen down into the valley, I would have jumped down after you for sure. Yue Lingshan looked at Ling Huchang with warmth and happiness blazing in her eyes. Big apprentice brother, why do you worry so much? If I had fallen down on my way to bring you food, it would be the result of my own carelessness. Why would you feel so guilty? It's not about feeling guilty. Ling Huchang shook his head slowly. If it were Sixth apprentice brother who was bringing food to me and fell down into the valley and got killed, will I jump down the valley after him? He shook his head slowly as he spoke. I will try my best to take good care of his parents and his family, but I won't jump off the cliff to die along with a friend. Poor guy. I don't have to throw him under the bus. But if I had died, then you wouldn't want to live anymore? Yue Lingshan asked slowly. That's correct. Little apprentice sister, it wasn't because you were bringing me food. Even if you were bringing food for someone else and died because of that, I wouldn't have wanted to stay alive. Yue Lingshan gripped onto Ling Huchang's hands tightly. Her heart filled with tenderness and affection. Big apprentice brother, she called out gently. Ling Huchang had an urge to embrace her in his arms, but still couldn't gather enough courage to do so. The two of them simply stared at each other quietly. Neither one moved an inch. Big snowflakes kept pouring down from the sky, and soon the two looked almost like 2 snowmen. Oh no. Am I gonna have to read uncomfortable stuff soon? After a long while, Ling Huchang finally broke the silence. You can't go down the cliff all by yourself tonight. Did master and master wife know that you came up here? It would be better if they can send someone up to get you. This morning, out of the blue, Dad received a letter from the Songshan Sword School's Alliance Chief, Zhuo, saying that they need to discuss something urgent, so he and Mom had left Mount Huashan today, Yue Lingshan said. Then does anyone else know that you came up here? Ling Huchang asked. Nope, nobody. 2nd, 3rd, 4th apprentice brothers and Monkey 6 all headed down to Mount Songshan together with Mom and Dad, and no one knows that I came up the cliff to see you. Otherwise, Monkey 6 would have fought with me for the chance to bring food up for you, and that would be very troublesome. Oh, that's right, the chap Lin Pingzhi saw me coming up, but I told him to shut his mouth if he wanted to be spared of a good beating tomorrow. Wow, what an impressive senior apprentice sister, Ling Huchang grinned. Of course, Yue Lingshan let out a smile. Somebody is finally calling me senior apprentice sister now. If I don't put on the manner of a senior, what a waste would that be? It's not like you. Everybody calls you the big apprentice brother. What do you care? The two of them broke into a laugh. Well, then you can't go back down tonight. Why don't you spend the night in the cave and plan on going back down tomorrow morning? Oh god, now I'm thirsty. I might need more water. Ling Huchang held Yue Lingshan's hand and walked her into the cave. The cave was quite small, just big enough for the two of them to stay in, and not much room left after that. Not much room left. It's a small room. He brought her into a small cave. The two of them sat down facing each other and chatted until late night. Yue Lingshan finally dozed off and fell asleep. Afraid that she might catch a cold, Ling Huchong took off the cotton padded coat he was wearing and tucked it around her. In the dim light reflected by the snow outside, he could vaguely see her cute little face. Little apprentice sister has such deep affection for me. Even if I have to die for her and be smashed into 10,000 pieces, I will not regret it, Ling Huchong thought to himself. In the silence, he soon fell into an even deeper thought. I lost my parents when I was still little. Luckily, master and master wife brought me up and treated me like their own son. I am the head apprentice of the Huashan Sword School. Not only did I become an apprentice earlier than everybody else, but also my kung fu skills were way above the rest of the apprentice brothers. One day I will probably take over the responsibility from master and become the headmaster of Huashan. Now, with little apprentice sister treating me like this, it would be impossible for me to ever repay the great kindness from my master. But I've always been doing things with no restraint and have kept master and master wife angry with me. I've really disappointed their expectations. I must thoroughly rectify my errors starting from now on. Otherwise, I would be failing not only master and master wife, but also little apprentice sister. All right, bye, tomato. Staring at the lovely hair of Yue Lingshan, which rustled gently from her breathing, Ling Huchong drifted into deep thoughts when he suddenly heard Yue Lingshan murmuring, "Hey, Chap Lin, you are not behaving yourself. Come over here and to let me give you a good beating." Ling Huchong was surprised, but seeing Yue Lingshan turning her body to the side with her eyes shut tight and her breathing falling back into a normal rhythm, he realized that she was just having a dream. Quite amused, he thought, finally getting to be a senior apprentice sister to someone. She probably has been acting in a real cocky way. During these days, apprentice brother Lin must have been ordered around left and right, and probably had enough of suffering. She can't even stop bullying him in her dreams. Poor guy. Guarding by Yue Lingshan's side, Ling Huchong did not sleep at all. Yue Lingshan had been totally exhausted the previous evening, so she slept till it was already late in the morning before waking up. Finding Ling Huchong staring at her with a smile, she returned with a smile, and then said with a yawn, "Did you wake up early in the morning?" Ling Huchong didn't tell her that he had not slept at all during the night. "What dream did you have? Did you beat up apprentice brother Lin?" he asked with a grin. "Did you hear me talk in my dreams?" Yue Lingshan asked after thinking for a moment. "This chap Lin is so stubborn. He just doesn't want to listen to me. Huh. I scold him not only in daytime, but also when I am sleeping." "How did he get on your nerves?" Ling Huchong asked. "I dreamed that I had asked him to go practice sword skills with me in the waterfall, but he had all kinds of excuses and simply didn't want to go with me. I finally tricked him into going, and as soon as he got into the waterfall, I pushed him down the waterfall." "Oops, you can't do that. You're going to get him killed," Ling Huchong commented with a smile. "It's only a dream. It's not real. Why are you worrying so much? Are you afraid that I might really kill this chap?" "Well, what one thinks about in daytime, one dreams about it at night. You must have really thought about killing apprentice brother Lin during the day, and you kept thinking about it. That's why you dreamed about it at night." Yue Lingshan showed a wrinkled nose. "This chap is useless. He has been practicing the entry-level sword arts form for 3 months now, and it still looked far from right. Yet he is the dedicated type and kept practicing days and nights. I get mad just looking at him practicing. What do I have to think about if I want to kill him? All I need to do is to raise my sword and then bring the sword swishing sideways, a sure kill with a single blow." She slashed out with her right hand and performed a move of Huashan sword arts. "Cloud by the hill, Chap Lin's head falls off." Ling Huchong burst into laughter. "If I actually use this cloud by the hill move, his head will fall off for sure," Yue Lingshan giggled loudly. "You are the senior apprentice sister. When a junior apprentice brother has a problem with his sword practice, you should be giving him some pointers, not drawing your sword to kill for no specific reasons. All new apprentices of the master will be your junior apprentice brothers. What if when master takes in 100 new apprentices and you decided to kill 99 of them in a couple of days? What are we going to do then? Ling Huchang joked. You are absolutely right about that. I'll only kill 99 of them and make sure I leave one alone. If I kill all of them, then who is going to call me senior apprentice sister? Yue Lingshan held onto the side of the rock wall and almost laughed herself silly. If you killed 99 junior apprentice brothers, the 100th one would be running away for sure. You still won't be able to maintain your senior apprentice sister status, Ling Huchang suggested. By then, I'll make you call me senior apprentice sister, Yue Lingshan grinned. I have no problem calling you senior apprentice brother, but are you going to kill me or not? Ling Huchang asked jokingly. If you listen to my orders, then I won't kill you. If you don't, then I will, Yue Lingshan also said, jokingly. Little apprentice sister, I beg you to show some mercy with your sword. It had stopped snowing by then. Afraid that when apprentice brothers and sisters found out that Yue Lingshan had been missing, they might start slanderous gossips, which could be disastrous for little apprentice sister's reputation, Ling Huchang urged Yue Lingshan to go back down after some short chats. I want to stay here a bit longer to play. Mom and Dad are both not at home. It's very boring. Yue Lingshan still didn't want to go. My good apprentice sister, in the last couple of days, I just created some more moves for the Chongling sword art. As soon as I leave the cliff, I'll go with you to practice sword skills in the waterfall, alright? So the Chongling sword art is the sword art that they created together. It's their own creation, which is supposed to be romantic, I think. After quite some coaxing, I think it's coaxing. After quite some coaxing, Ling Huchang finally succeeded in getting her off the cliff back home. At dusk that day, Gao Genming brought food up the cliff instead. He said that Yue Lingshan caught a cold and was having fevers. She had to rest in bed, but she thought about the big apprentice brother and had asked him to make sure not to forget bringing some wine when he brought up the food. Ling Huchang was greatly shocked and suffered great worries. He knew that she had a terrible fall the previous evening and was probably terribly scared, which caused all the illness, and wished dearly that he would be able to rush down the cliff to pay a visit to her. Although he had starved for 2 days with a meal right in front of him, he only felt a lump in his throat and could hardly swallow. Gao Genming knew that big apprentice brother and the little apprentice sister were a loving couple, and that was why, as soon as Ling Huchang heard about her illness, he became very worried. So he tried to comfort him. Big apprentice brother, don't be worried. Yesterday we had a lot of snow. Little apprentice sister must have spent too much time in the snow playing and caught. Little apprentice sister must have spent too much time in the snow playing and caught a cold. For people who practice inner energy like us, such a little cold is really nothing. After taking some medicines, it will be gone in no time, he persuaded. But Yue Lingshan remained sick for over 2 weeks. Only after the Yue couple had returned to Mount Huashan and rid the fever for her using Huashan-style inner energy was she able to recover slowly. By the time she was finally able to get up to the cliff, it was already over 20 days later. After suffering such a long parting, both felt great joy tempered with sorrow. Yue Lingshan stared at Ling Huchang's face and burst out a cry. Big apprentice brother, did you get sick too? How come you look so thin? Ling Huchang shook his head. I didn't get sick. You were thinking of me, and you lost weight because of the worries, Yue Lingshan suddenly realized. She burst into tears. Big apprentice brother, I am all recovered by now. I watched the road days and nights, waiting for this very moment. Thank heavens, you came at last, Ling Huchang muttered, holding Yue Lingshan's hand tightly. Actually, I saw you many times, Yue Lingshan said. What? You saw me many times? Ling Hucheng asked in surprise. Yeah, while I was ill, I saw you all the time when I closed my eyes. That day when my fever worsened, Mom said that I kept talking to you in my dreams. Big apprentice brother, Mom has learned about that night when I spent the night up here. Ling Hucheng blushed and felt some uneasiness. Was Master Wife angry? He asked. Mom wasn't angry about it, but Yue Lingshan suddenly blushed and stopped abruptly. But what? Ling Hucheng asked. I'm not telling you, Yue Lingshan declared. Noticing the affected, shy expression on Yue Lingshan's face, Ling Hucheng's heart quivered. He immediately pulled himself together and said, Little apprentice sister, you just got better. You really shouldn't come up here so soon. I knew you were gradually getting better. Every day when the 5th apprentice brother or 6th apprentice brother brought food up for me, they all told me about you. Then how come you are still so thin? Yue Lingshan asked. Well, as soon as you fully recover, I will gain my weight back, Ling Hucheng answered with a smile. Tell me the truth. How much did you eat at each meal these days? Monkey 6 said that you didn't touch your food at all and only drank a lot of wine. He tried to persuade you, but you simply wouldn't listen to him. Big apprentice brother, why don't you take good care of yourself? At those words, teardrops started rolling in her eyes again. Nonsense. Don't listen to him. Monkey 6 always likes to exaggerate. Why would I only drink wine and not eat? Ling Hucheng denied. A breeze of cold wind swept by and sent A breeze of cold wind swept by and sent Yue Lingshan shivering. It was a very chilly day. The cliff didn't even have a single tree to block the cold wind. It was already very cold on top of Mount Huashan. It was even colder here on the cliff. Little apprentice sister, Ling Hucheng said quickly, you have not fully recovered yet. You'd better not catch a cold again. Go back down the cliff. Wait until one day when the sun comes out and after you have fully recovered, then you can come up here to see me again. I'm not cold. We are getting snow and windstorm every day. Who knows when we will have sunshine again? Yue Lingshan complained. But what if you get sick again? Ling Hucheng said in a worried tone. Seeing the thin and pallid face of Ling Hucheng, Yue Lingshan thought, if I get sick again, he'll get sick too, for sure. That will surely get him killed with no one here taking care of him at all. So she had to agree. Fine, I'm leaving now. You take good care of yourself. Don't drink that much wine. Have at least 3 bowls of rice every meal. I'll go talk to Dad and tell him that you are not feeling well. You need more nutritious food. You can't live off only vegetables. I will not violate the prohibition. Seeing you getting better is enough nourish for me already. I'm sure I will start gaining weight in a couple of days. My dear, please go back now, Ling Hucheng urged. What did you call me? Her cheeks going red, Yue Lingshan asked in a low voice. Love and affection swelling in her eyes. Feeling a little bit shy, Ling Hucheng immediately answered. I just blurted that out. Little apprentice sister, please don't mind. Why would I mind? I like you to call me like that, Yue Lingshan replied. Ling Hucheng felt a warm current coursing through his heart. All he could think of was to embrace her tightly in his arms, but he immediately told himself, she has shown me such affection. How could I ever disgrace her with such disrespectful behavior? So he turned his head aside in a hurry and only said in a soft voice, walk slow when you go down the cliff, one step at a time. Take a rest if you need to. Don't just run all the way down like you used to do in other days. I won't, Yue Lingshan answered as she turned around slowly and walked toward the road down the cliff. Hearing the sound of her steps getting further and further, Ling Hucheng turned his head back, only seeing Yue Lingshan standing a few dozen feet away down the road, staring at him. For a long while, the two just stared at each other, silently. Walk slow. It's time for you to get back, Ling Hucheng finally said. Yes, Yue Lingshan answered, and this time really started heading back. In that day, Ling Hucheng felt a kind of joy he had never experienced before in his entire life. Sitting on the rock, he couldn't resist his urge to laugh out loud. He suddenly burst out a long roar, and it echoed around the valley again and again. The roar seemed to be shouting the words, I am so happy, I am so happy. The next day, it snowed again, and sure enough, Yue Lingshan did not come up. Ling Huchang heard from Lu Dayo that she was enjoying a speedy recovery and was getting better and better every day. That truly cheered him up. Chat likes that, my dear, that Ling Huchang said. Another 20 or so days passed before Yue Lingshan came up the cliff again. She had a basket full of zhongji. Alright, we gotta figure out what that is. Laozi and Zhuangzi are both famous philosophers in ancient China. Laozi started Taoism, and Zhuangzi is a good scholar in Taoism. Okay. Wait. Alright, someone explain this to me. What does she had a basket full of Zhuangzi at this time? After looking at Ling Huchang's face carefully for a moment, she smiled. You didn't lie. You sure gained quite a few pounds back. You've recovered well. I am so happy to see you healthy. Seeing the ruddy complexion on Yue Lingshan's cheeks, Ling Huchang also smiled. I've been bugging Mom every day so that I could bring your food up, but Mom just wouldn't let me. She kept saying that it was too cold or it was too humid. She almost sounded as soon as I come up the cliff, I'll drop dead. I said that big apprentice brother has stayed on the cliff for days and nights. I don't see him getting sick. Mom said that big apprentice brother has a very high inner energy. I am simply not in the same league. Hey, Mom was praising about you. Aren't you happy to hear that? Oh, Zongzi is food? Then why did the then is this the wrong explanation? Or am I in the wrong place? Oh shit. No. Chapter 14. Anyways, doesn't matter. Ling Huchong nodded. I really miss Master and Master Wife. I wish I could see them soon. Yesterday, I spent a whole day helping Mom wrapping Zhongzi. I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice if I could bring you some? And guess what? Before I even opened my mouth to ask today, Mom had already said to me, take this basket of Zhongzi to Chong. What a surprise. Ling Huchong felt a lump in his throat, thinking, Master Wife is so nice to me. These zongzi just came out of the pot. They are still hot. Let me peel some for you. Yue Lingshan went in the cave and started unwrapping the bamboo leaves outside of the zongzi. Soon appetizing smell filled the small cave. Taking the unwrapped zongzi, Yue Lingshan handed to him. Taking the unwrapped zongzi Yue Lingshan handed to him, Ling Huchong took a bite. Even though the zongzi only had vegetarian stuffing, the mixture of straw mushrooms, lotus seeds, broad beans, and other ingredients gave it a very delicious flavor. Little Lin and I picked those straw mushrooms the day before yesterday, Yue Lingshan bragged. Little Lin? Ling Huchong was lost. Oh, that's junior apprentice brother Lin. I've been calling him Little Lin these days. He came to me the day before yesterday and told me that there was straw mushrooms under those pine trees at the east slope. He even went with me and spent half a day picking them, but we only found enough to fill a half basket. Well, there's not much. It sure is tasty, isn't it? Yummy. I almost swallowed my tongue together with it. So, little apprentice sister, you don't yell at him now? Ling Hucheng asked. Why not? Anytime he doesn't listen to me, I yell at him. but he sure learned how to behave himself these days, so I don't yell at him as much now. And when he works hard and progress a little with his sword practice, I praise him a little. Haha, little Lin, this move looks not too shabby, much better than yesterday, but it's still not fast enough. Practice more, haha. Yue Lingshan said amusingly. Are you teaching him sword arts? Ling Huchang asked. Yep, he speaks Fujian dialect. Apprentice brothers and sisters are having a hard time understanding him. I've been to Fuzhou before, and it's easier for me to understand his words, so Dad asked me to help him with his sword art whenever I have time. Big apprentice brother, since I can't come up here to see you all the time, when I get bored, I might as well teach him a couple of moves. Little Lin is no dummy, he can learn quickly. I see. So you are the senior apprentice sister and the instructor. No wonder he dares not to disobey you. Ling Huchang laughed. I wouldn't say that. Yesterday, when I asked him to go hunt pheasants with me, he didn't want to go, and said that he had not gotten the moves White Aurora, shooting to sun and heaven, hanging upside down right, and needed to practice more. That's a mouthful. Ling Huchang was a bit surprised. He asked, he has only been in our Huashan sword school for several months. How come he is already practicing moves like White Aurora, shooting to sun and heaven, hanging upside down? Little apprentice sister, our Huashan sword arts require the practitioner to follow each of the steps. It would be harmful to try to advance too quickly. Don't worry about it. I won't be teaching him irresponsibly, Yue Lingshan explained. Little Lin is always eager to excel. He practices days and nights. Every time when I want to chat a little, in less than 3 sentences, he would start asking questions about sword arts. Sword forms that will take others 3 months to grasp will only take him half a month. When I wanted him to go play with me, he would never agree, frankly. Ling Huchang fell silent, and all of a sudden, some kind of indescribable annoyance filled his heart. He took another bite, and then just stared at the zongzi in his hand blankly. Big apprentice brother, did you swallow your tongue? Why have you stopped talking? Yue Lingshan pulled at Ling Huchang's sleeves. Absent-mindedly, Ling Huchang put the remaining of the zongzi in his mouth. Somehow, the supposedly delicious zongzi got stuck in his mouth, and he couldn't swallow it down. Yue Lingshan pointed at him and giggled hard. Aren't you too impatient? See, you got it stuck to your teeth. With a wry smile, Ling Huchang swallowed hard, and finally managed to send it down his throat. He thought to himself, I'm really being stupid. Little apprentice sister loves to play. Since I can't go down the cliff, she wanted apprentice brother Lin to be her company. That's really quite normal. Why am I being so narrow-minded and getting mad at that? So he relaxed a little and said with a smile, You must have worked on this one. See how tight did you wrap it? It got my tongue and my teeth all stuck together. Yue Lingshan burst into loud laughter. After a few moments, she commented, Poor big apprentice brother who has to be a prisoner on top of the cliff. See how gluttonous you are. The next time when she came up the cliff again, it was already over 10 days later. Other than the meal basket, she also brought a small basket with half baskets of pine nuts and chestnuts. During the 10 days, Ling Huchang's neck probably had gotten longer from all the anxious looking down the cliff. Every time he asked about little apprentice sister from Lu Dayo when he brought food up, Lu Dayo would always look queer and speak in an odd way. Ling Huchang got suspicious, but simply couldn't get a straight answer out of him. When Ling Huchang pressed really hard sometimes, Lu Dayo would always answer, Little apprentice sister is doing great. She practices sword arts diligently every day. Maybe master didn't want her up the cliff so she wouldn't be disturbing big apprentice brother's meditation here. Now, when he finally saw Yue Lingshan again after all the waiting, his joy was unspeakable. She seemed to be glowing with health and radiating vigor, looking even prettier than how she looked before the illness. Ling Huchang couldn't help but think, she has fully recovered. Why did she wait so long before coming up the cliff again? Did master or master wife ban her from coming up here? Seeing the puzzled look in Ling Huchang's eyes, Yue Lingshan suddenly blushed. Big apprentice brother, I hadn't come up to see you for so many days. Are you mad at me? She asked. Why would I be mad? Master and Master Wife must have told you not to come up, haven't you? Ling Huchang said. Yeah, Mom just taught me a new sword art form. She said that this sword art form has so many complicated variations. If I had come up the cliff to chat with you, I'd lose my focus. Which sword art form? Ling Huchang asked curiously. Take a guess, Yue Lingshan challenged. Yang Wu sword form? No. Nope. Shi Wu sword form? Try again. Yue Lingshan shook her head. Could it be the Fair Maiden sword form? That's my mom's specialty. I am not even qualified to give the Fair Maiden sword form a try yet. Yue Lingshan stuck her tongue out and made a face. Okay, let me tell you. It's the 19 stances of the Jade Maiden sword, she said triumphantly. Ling Huchang was taken by slight surprise. You start to learn the 19 stances of the Jade Maiden sword now? Oh, that really is a very complicated sword form, he said happily. All his suspicion melted away. Been a while. Alright guys, 5 minutes, break. Alright, I'm back. Alright, one more wafer. It's so good. Hmm. Am I sweating? Not really. It might be the light. Ah. So if you haven't noticed, what's been happening. So Yue Lingshan is visiting less and less, and she's spending more time with Lin Pingzhi down the mountain. And Ling Huchang is getting a little jealous. You are just a shiny guy. I glow, is what you're saying, right, Bigfoot? Alright, I think we're almost done with the chapter. Oh, we were talking about watching a movie or something, like, earlier in the week. Do you guys want to watch a movie? Okay. I have Mulan. Mulan 2020. Maybe I should play it in the Discord, in our Discord server, if you guys want. After the stream. How's that? I can't play it here, okay? But I can play it in the Discord. Let me know. I think it's about 2 hours. We can watch it in the Discord and then I don't know, talk in chat while it's happening. Little movie nights. You refuse to watch Mulan? Come on. It's okay. I mean, it's probably worse. Well, it is worse than the cartoon. But I don't know, I wanna see it. How to use Discord? The Discord link is in the description. So just go to the link You just download an app on your phone or on your computer. I suggest using the computer because you don't want to be holding your phone and watching the movie. And then it's hard to type in the chat at the same time. Yeah, you have to switch windows back and forth. So, put it on your computer and watch a movie. All right. Although the set of Jade Maiden sword form only had 19 stances, every stance had a very complicated changes and variations. If the practitioner couldn't memorize all those, he wouldn't even be able to use just one stance. He had heard from Master about it before. The 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword mainly focus in the fancy variations and changes. The form is quite different from our school's main focus. Inner energy drives the sword. Since female apprentices tend to have less strength from their arms, when they encounter with a tougher opponent, they can use this sword form to counter with artful moves. But all the male apprentices have no need to learn it. That's why even Ling Huchong himself had not learned it before. Based on Yue Lingshan's current skill level, it seemed that she was not ready to learn this sword form yet. Before Ling Huchong, Yue Lingshan and some other apprentice brothers and sisters had watched how Master and Master Wife showed the set of sword form. Master had attacked using many different sword art forms from different sword schools and styles, but Master Wife only defended with this 19 stances of Jade Maiden sword form. The 19 stances of Jade Maiden sword were actually well matched with the hundreds of excellent sword moves in a dozen different styles. All the apprentices watching by the side were dumbfounded in amazement. Yue Lingshan had begged her mother to teach her this sword form by then, and Madame Yue had answered, "You are still too young. First, you don't have the skill level yet. Secondly, this sword art form requires a lot of brain power. You should probably wait till you are 20 years old before learning this sword form. In addition, this sword form is used for countering sword moves from other sword schools. If you only work with apprentice brothers and sisters in our own school, you'd end up practicing how to counter Huashan sword art. Chong knows a lot of different kung fu, and he probably tempers many. He probably remembers many different sword moves from other sword schools. He can probably practice with you in the future." This was an episode that happened about 2 years ago, and nobody ever mentioned it again. Who'd expect that Master Wife actually taught her this sword form? Master must be in real good mood these days to practice sword art with you every day, Ling Hushang said. This sword form focused on adapting itself to changing conditions and not restricting oneself to certain moves or postures. That was why, right from the beginning, the practitioner would need to practice with a partner. Within the Huashan Sword School, Yue Buchun and Ling Huchang were the only two having good knowledge about sword arts from other sword schools. Thus, since Yue Lingshan was learning the 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword, Yue Buchun had to be working with her to attack her with other sword schools' sword moves. Yue Lingshan flushed slightly again. "Dad doesn't have that much time. It was little Lin who helped me to practice," she said bashfully. She even has a little nickname for Lin Pingzhi. "Apprentice brother Lin? Does he know many sword moves from other sword schools?" Ling Huchang asked in surprise. "He only knows the family kung fu of his evil resisting sword art. Dad said that even though the evil resisting sword art isn't that powerful at all, it has some interesting variations in the moves, which would be good for me to compare to. He wanted me to counter evil resisting sword art as the starting point for my 19 stances of Jade Maiden sword training." "I see," Ling Huchang nodded. "Big apprentice brother, are you upset?" "No, why would I be upset? You are learning an advanced form of our Huashan sword arts now. I feel very happy for you. Why should I be upset?" "But you don't look very happy." "Which stance are you on now?" Ling Huchang squeezed out a smile and asked. Yue Lingshan didn't answer. After a long time, she finally said, "I see. Mom said to let you help me practice, but I am having little Lin do it. That's why you are upset. Am I right? But think about it, big apprentice brother. In the short while you won't be able to come down from the cliff, and I am just too anxious to learn this sword form. I just can't wait for you any longer. You are talking childishly again. We are all apprentice brothers and sisters, so it's all the same no matter who practices with you, Ling Huchang said in laughter. He paused for a second and then went on. I know you'd rather have apprentice brother Lin practice with you than having me. Nonsense, Yue Lingshan blushed again. Compared to you, little Lin's skill level is miles away. What good does it do me practicing with him? Ling Huchang thought to himself. Apprentice brother Lin has only joined the Huashan sword school for several months. Even if he were a super genius, how good could he get? So he said, of course there's benefit there. Wouldn't you feel great when you can beat him with every single one of your moves? Just with his clumsy evil resisting sword art, does he actually expect to defeat me? Yue Lingshan giggled. Ling Huchang had long known that the little apprentice sister was the type who always wanted to win. When she sparred with Lin Pingzhi, most likely she was able to use the newly learned sword art with facility, and was able to enjoy advantage with every single move. Lin Pingzhi's kung fu level was very low, and he probably made a perfect spar partner. When Ling Huchang thought about that, his depression went away immediately. Then, let me try a couple of moves with you. Let's see how good you are with your 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword, he suggested, smiling. Yue Lingshan was overjoyed. Wonderful. Today before I came up, I actually planned. With a shy smile, she drew her long sword. You came up the cliff today just to show me the sword art you just learned? Good. Go ahead, Ling Huchang said. Big apprentice brother, your sword skills have always been better than mine, but after I learned this set of 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword, well, you won't be able to bully me anymore. Yue Lingshan grinned. When did I ever bully you? You are wronging the good guy here. Don't you want to draw your sword? Yue Lingshan got into her starting position. Not so soon, Ling Huchang said. He shifted his left hand into the starting position and then thrust his right hand out quickly. This is from the Qincheng Sword School's Pine Wind sword art. This move is called Thundering Pine Wave. He pretended that his hand was a sword and thrust it toward Yue Lingshan's shoulder. Yue Lingshan turned to the side and stepped back while waving her sword to block toward Ling Huchang's hand. Look out, she called out. Don't try to be nice. I'll draw my sword when I can't defend myself. How dare you fight my 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword with your bare hands? Yue Lingshan snapped. That's because you have not mastered it. Once you master it, I won't be able to fight you with my bare hands. Yue Lingshan had been practicing the 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword very hard these days. She felt that she had advanced quite a lot in her sword skills, and even if compared to first-class sword masters in the martial world, she would be no less. The reason why she didn't come up the cliff for the last 10 days was to keep this a secret from Ling Huchang, so she could give him a big surprise with one brilliant feat, and thus make Ling Huchang think highly of her. But now he was actually belittling her, and only wanted to fight her 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword with his bare hands. She couldn't help but feel annoyed. If by accident I cut you or something, don't blame me. Don't tell my mom or dad either, she pulled a long face. That's of course. You do your best. If you give ground in any way, you wouldn't be showing your true skills. Ling Huchang's left hand suddenly chopped out as he spoke. Look out, he yelled. What? Is your left hand a sword too? Yue Lingshan shouted in astonishment. If Ling Huchang had really chopped down, Yue Lingshan would have been injured in the shoulder. He held on his strength and explained, some people in the Qincheng Sword School do use double swords. That's right. I've seen some Qincheng apprentices carrying double swords. How did I forget that? Watch out! Yue Lingshan launched a counterattack. Seeing that the thrust drifted swiftly, Ling Huchang figured this must be an advanced move out of the Jade Maiden Sword. He praised, this one is very good, just not fast enough. Still not fast enough? A little bit faster, I would have chopped off your arm. Go ahead and try to chop it off. Ling Huchang used his right hand as the sword and chopped toward her left arm. Yue Lingshan was a bit annoyed. She waved her sword quickly and swiftly, and started using the 19 stances of Jade Maiden Sword she had been practicing, one move after another. Out of the total 19 stances of moves, she could only remember 9, and within the 9 stances, she could really only use 6. But these 6 stances were already quite powerful. Whenever she pointed the sword somewhere, Ling Huchang would have a hard time getting close to her in that direction. Ling Huchang circled around her as they fought. Every time when he tried to attack his way in, he was forced back by her sharp sword moves. Once he had to jump backward quickly and ended up bumping his back on a piece of rock that was sticking out. Yue Lingshan was very pleased with herself. She asked in a grin, "Don't you want to draw your sword now?" All right. That was also a short chapter, right? Yeah, the last two were pretty short. All right. We can go to the Discord channel and watch the movie now, or I can sing a Mulan song. I can karaoke a Mulan song if you guys want. Before we do that, what's that song that the general sing? Let me know.